My name is Emma. I'm 30 years old. And last month, something happened at my father's goodbye party that changed everything. But before I tell you what I did that made the entire room go quiet, let me tell you why I did it. Because what my dad said that night. That was just the last drop in a very full cup. Stay with me because by the end of this story, you'll understand why sometimes walking away is the bravest thing you can do. The party was at a fancy hotel. You know, the kind with shiny floors and waiters carrying trays of tiny food. There were maybe 150 people there. Business friends, neighbors, family members I hadn't seen in years. My dad, Thomas Richardson, stood at the front with a microphone. He was retiring after 35 years of running his construction business. Everyone was clapping and smiling. He started talking about his life, his success, his family. Then he pointed at me. "This is Emma," he said with a big smile. "My daughter. Dropped out of college, never finished anything, still figuring out what she wants to be when she grows up." People laughed. Like it was a joke. Like my life was something funny. I stood there holding my drink and something inside me just broke. Not in a sad way. In a free way. I lifted my glass high in the air and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Thank you, Dad. This is the last time you'll ever see me." Then I walked out. My heels clicked on that shiny floor. Nobody said a word. It was so quiet you could hear people breathing. I pushed through the hotel doors and walked into the night air, and I felt lighter than I had in 10 years. But let me back up. Let me tell you how I got to that moment. Because this story, it started a long, long time ago. When I was 9 years old, my mom passed away. She got sick very fast and then she was gone. I remember her laugh more than her face now. After she died, everything changed. My dad married a woman named Carol 2 years later. Carol had a daughter from before, Jessica, who was 13 when they got married. Suddenly, I wasn't the only kid anymore. And honestly, I became the kid nobody noticed. Jessica got all the attention. When she got good grades, Dad took her out for ice cream. When I got good grades, nobody said anything. When Jessica wanted dance lessons, Dad paid for them right away. When I asked for art classes, Dad said, "Maybe next year." Next year never came. It wasn't that they were mean to me. They just forgot I was there. Like I was a chair or a table. Something in the house but not really important. I had one person who really saw me though. My grandma Rose. She was my dad's mom, and she was the kindest person I ever knew. Every week she'd call me and ask about school, about my dreams, about what made me happy. She'd say things like, "Emma, you're special. Don't let anyone make you feel small." I didn't know then that Grandma Rose was planning something. Something that would save me years later. When I turned 19, I was in my second year of college. I was studying hotel management because I loved the idea of running my own place someday. Creating spaces where people felt welcome and safe. My grades were good. Really good. I was even applying for a fancy summer program in California. Then Dad called me home for a family talk. Those words always meant something bad was coming. I sat in the living room. Dad and Carol were on the couch, looking serious. Dad cleared his throat and said, "Emma, we need to talk about money. Jessica got into law school. It's expensive. We can't pay for both your college and her law school. So we've decided you'll take a break from school. Just for now." My heart dropped into my stomach. Carol patted Dad's hand and said, "You're a girl, Emma. You'll get married someday. You don't really need a college degree like Jessica does." I just sat there. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But I didn't. I just said, "Okay." Inside, though, I was making a promise to myself. I would never let them decide my life again. What I found out months later was that there was enough money. My aunt accidentally told me. Dad just chose to spend it on Jessica, not me. That's when I knew. I wasn't family to them. I was just extra. I moved to Chicago with $1,500 I had saved from working at a coffee shop. I found a tiny apartment, the kind where you can touch both walls if you stretch your arms out. It was above a pizza place, And every night it smelled like cheese and tomato sauce. I got a job cleaning offices at night. Then I got a second job working at a flower shop during the day. I was tired all the time. But I was free. One day, the owner of the flower shop, a sweet lady named Mrs. Patterson, said to me, "Emma, you're good with people. You should do something with that." So I started thinking. I loved flowers. I loved making people happy. What if I could do both? I started taking free classes online about business, about running a company, about marketing. I watched videos every night after work, taking notes like I was still in school. 3 years went by. I saved every penny I could. I ate rice and beans most days. I didn't buy new clothes. I didn't go to movies. Every dollar went into a jar I kept under my bed. When I had $5,000 saved, I did something crazy. I started my own business. A flower delivery company, but different. We delivered flowers to hospitals for people who couldn't afford them. We partnered with businesses who'd pay for the service. I called it Bloom Forward. It was just me at first. Me and my beat-up car, driving flowers to sick people all over Chicago. But people loved it. Companies loved it. It made them look good and it made sick people smile. Within a year I hired 2 people to help me. Within 2 years I had 10 employees. Within 4 years, we were in 5 cities. We were making over $2 million a year. Then 2 years ago Grandma Rose died. I went back home for the funeral. I sat in the back of the church, watching Dad cry and talk about how much he loved his mother. After the funeral, a lawyer I'd never met called me. His name was Mr. Peterson. He said, "Emma, your grandmother left something for you. Can you come to my office?" I drove there the next day, confused and sad. Mr. Peterson handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter from Grandma Rose. It said, "My sweet Emma, I know what your father did. I know about the college money. I know how they treated you like you didn't matter. I tried to talk to your father, but he wouldn't listen. So I'm giving you something he can't touch. I saved $200,000 for you. Use it to build your dreams. Show them what they lost. Love you. I always believed in you. Grandma Rose." I cried right there in that lawyer's office. She had seen everything. She had protected me even after she was gone. I used some of that money to open a second part of my business. A training program teaching other people how to start their own flower businesses. Now I wasn't just delivering flowers. I was helping other people build their dreams too. Last month I got an invitation in the mail. Heavy paper, gold letters. "You are invited to Thomas Richardson's retirement celebration." I almost threw it away. But then I thought about Grandma Rose. I thought about the girl I used to be, the one who felt invisible. And I thought about the woman I became anyway. I decided to go. Not because I wanted to make up with Dad, but because I wanted him to see me one last time before I disappeared forever. At the party, I wore a simple black dress. Nothing too fancy but nice. I stood in the back while Dad gave his speech. He talked about his success, his business, his wonderful family. When he got to me, he did that thing he always did. He made me the joke. That's when I decided. No more. I wasn't going to be small anymore. When I said those words and walked out, I meant every one of them. The next week, Dad called me 15 times. I didn't answer. Carol sent messages saying I was being dramatic. Blocked her. Jessica texted saying I embarrassed the family. I deleted it. Then a month later, Dad showed up at my office in Chicago. He walked in and saw everything. The employees, the flowers, the success. His face went white. "Emma," he said. "I didn't know. I didn't know you were doing all this." I looked at him and said, "You never asked." He tried to apologize. He said he was wrong, that he should have supported me, that he was proud now. But I said, "Dad, I don't need you to be proud now. I needed you to believe in me then. I built this without you. I'm happy without you. And I'm going to keep living my life without you." He left. I never heard from him again. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Here's what I learned, and I hope you hear this. Your family is supposed to lift you up. But if they don't, you can still rise. You can build a life that's beautiful and full, even if the people who were supposed to love you didn't. Sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Not because you hate them, but because you love yourself more. Thank you for listening to my story. This is Sister Sephora, and remember, you are not what they said you were. You are what you decide to be.